Yeah. Okay. Got it. Just checking. Yeah, whenever you are. Sorry.
Call the continued session back to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming, and hope everybody had a nice, healthy, safe Thanksgiving. Roll call again. Yes.
Here. Present. I don't know.
Joe, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here, but I could barely hear you.
I admitted somebody Galaxy Note 9.
I'm here.
Okay, well, we'll keep you on the phone too, so if he wanted to call you for roll call. Oh, he's here.
Okay, citizens petitions. Anyone have anything at this time? Okay. Move on to budget and finance, 2021 budget. Who wants to start? We reviewed it in detail at the previous session. Anyone have any comments, recommendations, changes? We're basically here to get all it worked out and advertised.
Who received the copy of my email? So you get the email of up to the.
To do with those suggestions.
When?
So you guys got it all.
When?
But
I didn't look at anything today, sorry.
So, as it stands, as I suggested, okay. Go to police. If that's the case, $125,000 for, so I eliminated that, but I'm working backwards here, okay? Also in that case, eliminated $3,600 for pension new officer. Eliminated the $3,000 for a lawnmower, which is really $9,000 because we're paying that for next 3 years. Took the crossing guards and have that since we're not going back to school, so we won't be paying that out.
Eventually.
And came up with, because we eliminate a certain amount of expense, we have to pay 0.0765% for Medicare and Social Security towards salaries. So if you eliminate 125,000 plus, 9,000, whatever, you eliminate some of the expense we have towards salaries. So in the end, we come up with a surplus of 13,000, get to it. I should have brought my computer. $13,660 surplus, which I know people want another policeman. It's expense to pay for part-time police officers, not a lot, roughly $1,000 a month, a few hours a week. With no tax hike, and as I look at it, the Social Security Medicare expense for us goes from $42,000 down to $29,877.54. I know Matt is finding us also some, perhaps, with medical benefits. Maybe we can save some dollars there. If I can think about that. We find anything, or we still up in the air with that?
I sent everybody the plans, the alternate plans.
That's a tough one because I think our broker is doing a little tunnel vision. In a sense, I know she gave us a lot, but I don't see anything outside of.
This is this year's.
Is there any similar stuff in there that she sent us?
I think she sent some Geisinger plans way back when.
I'm just curious, that's what I'm saying. I'm curious if that's not a better route for them and for us, because it's, when you go with this local, I know Blue Cross is local too, but I think we could save some money there.
So the total for medical insurance for the year came to $100,880.28. And that would be going up by 8% on the same plan. So that would take it to the $108,000 figure. In terms of the plans that were sent over, they all include some kind of an increase. Currently, there's no deductible. There would be some deductible in all the other plans. $500 for individuals, $1,000 for family, which I'm not sure whether that includes the 2-person or not, since we have all 3 types of plans: individual, 2-person, and family. So our current monthly cost is $8406.69. In the ones that got sent over the other night, there's one plan that's $8,165.60. So that's That is Blue Care Custom PPO 500, 0%, 315, 30, 50B. So the 315, 30, 50, that's all related to prescriptions and mail-in prescriptions and 90-day subscriptions, prescriptions and things like that. 816560 is that one. And then there's another one that has the same deductible, but it has some increases for the prescription stuff. So it's 3, 20, 40, and 60. And that one's $7,899.91. And that was it from the last ones that the broker had sent over. Are those two alternatives?
We're looking at 98,000, 94,780. And we have 100, how much did we have in there?
This year was $100,880.28, and that same plan would go up by 8% this year, so that's 109,000 roughly.
The other plan is our for next year.
Correct, yeah.
There's $15,000 less if we use the 79,919. I would like to look at that one, so, they were all fair. I mean, I'm comparing to my personal plan. When I look at it, I think I'd rather be on that plan, and I think it's fair.
So the 7,899.61 plan comes out to 94,798.92 for the year. Yeah, that's what's in that one. That Leanne printed. So Shane, I lied. That changed. It's lower though than what it was last week.
We're at $28,000 plus.
From the one, well, the one that's printed out had a few changes on it. Well, I don't know if that's right. The Social Security number is 38,000.
Yeah, it was 42 with, you know, that on mine.
The original one was 42.
Right,
Which
is actually
which is lower. However, the workman's comp is higher than it's was ever known to be. It's actually 32,986. I called AmTrust, and I guess Brown and Brown handles that policy there. So they gave me the exact numbers. So that's where the 24,580 comes from. The other one is State Workers Insurance Fund. And when I tried to call them, I was forced to leave a voicemail, and so that was 8,406.69. So it's 32,986.69. So anything that we saved on the Social Security side and the medical side pretty much got consumed by that.
15,000 of your funds change up by that. You have 9,000 last year.
Well,
I think we need to shop that. That's just, I mean, unless we're.
I don't think we could do anything till July.
Okay.
As far as any other outstanding questions from last time, there was the question around the the county and they call it a reading or a certification of the taxes. And the borough actually lost $67,000 from the previous year between, I know there was a restaurant that got theirs knocked down a little bit. That wasn't the whole amount. There must have been some others. So the number that we were working off of is in the ballpark. It's worth. To the point where I don't really feel like touching the real estate part of it either, because there may be some previous years back taxes that make up that difference of that 67,000. It comes to like $300 difference. So let me just make sure here. Well, I mean, I'll just say I'm uncomfortable taking the security or the crossing guards out due to the fact that they'll have to be in there at some point in the future. So you're just like kind of masking the situation. Well, that's what I'm saying is if you take that out in 1 year, it's still going to have to go back in at some point in time. So you're just kicking the can down the road as far as like the total amount of income and expenses goes.
Well,
That's,
no, I don't want to raise taxes. So
I get that. I get that.
but- And people want another police officer, so that's, that's more police officers. So
That was
somebody,
something I didn't check on this thing. Did you reduce the income of the reimbursement from the school district? You did. Can I ask that? Okay.
I kind of gave them a little, gave us a little less than I think we'd actually get. Because I think the way it works is it doesn't go like $36,000, we pay 36 and then they give us 18 back. You gotta work in that Medicare and
Yes.
social.
Yes,
So
they have to go.
Yeah, so I just gave us a little less. I always like to be, then we end up with $20. If everybody wants another officer, it's a way, somebody came up here and said something about compromise, but then they wanted us to just, the people who were disagreeing, they wanted us to just say, fine, do what you guys want, or do what whoever wants. That's no compromise. This is a compromise. We don't raise taxes, but they also get their police officer. And again, by the time, and we have a codes guy in there too for $5,100. I mean, you guys don't have this in front of you. By the time this all happens, could be March. There's 2 months of not having to pay that officer, not having to pay that codes person, and then not that we should spend that $5,113 or whatever it is by the end of the year, but at least we have a little extra to give them a little extra hours in that period of time. And hopefully, usually the way it works, people are in their houses in the winter time and in the summers when we need the officer more so than we do now. And if we work out the schedule better, like we've been trying to do, we'll have coverage that will probably would eliminate even needing another officer because we have better coverage.
I joined this council for a few different reasons. But some of my goals were to bolster our police department for the police departments. Fortunately, without raising taxes, it does not create any do so. Even aside from positive changes to the borough, we still have hundreds of thousands of dollars going over our heads right now. Things that we, unfortunately, not sure how much we get into detail, but there's a lot of stuff out there. It's public information for everybody to look into. But we have a lot of things over our heads to keep in mind, and we should look into this. Unfortunately, we will not. And if at this point in time we do raise taxes, and as Joe said, we don't hire a code enforcement person, we say we might our time, or if we have a base and we budget for crossing guards that we have not need, this will help us so much more than we have seen in the future. I think that it's not even just the stuff that's flying right on increasing our controls, things that we are on, that are unseen, we don't probably help us because we accomplish hopefully I'm sure many of us are secretary not in extremely poor conditions in the office. We have less space heaters in there, or we didn't go well. We lost the police car because we were both doing stuff and unfortunately, that's the option.
Yeah, I'd also like to expand the police, and I think that's what the majority of people that I talk to want, is to expand the police. And to Shane's point, there's really no way to do that. We could cut a whole bunch of things and be in exactly the same boat we were this year, where we have 4 police officers, 2.25 streets guys, 1 person in the office, 2 codes guys. We could cut everything and continue to pinch and scrimp and struggle for another year. And I feel like I'm sitting up here trying to do things with one arm tied behind my back with the amount of money that we have. So if we're ever going to move things forward, eventually, something's going to have to give. Now, I'll also say that there was a suggestion about raising the EIT, and it was, 11th hour type stuff. Per the borough code, the EIT is set at 1.0%, which is what the borough is currently set at, even though there's an additional 0.5% that goes to the school district. My understanding is the only way that we could raise that is if we were in Act 47 status, which that brings a whole lot of problems with it too. So I don't think raising the EIT is on the table at all, at least not at this late hour. And thus the only solution to do anything differently is from a real estate tax perspective.
However, we're in a situation where we need to ensure and work a bunch of people, and because we're going to be organic to those students, the EIT would be a great thing to pursue in the future, but I don't think it's something we rely on.
We can't do anything with real estate taxes, because that's not our, we can't raise real estate taxes. We can raise the millage.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to say we're gonna raise taxes to spend all that money, so in December of next year, we're raising taxes to spend all that money again, that's what you're saying. I want $125,000 for police, so let's raise taxes so we have that money to pay for all this stuff. And frankly, you talk to different people, obviously, because the people I talk to, all I hear is I'm sick and tired of the police up there guarding the station, or the picture like it's sent to me from them at Domino's and McDonald's in Hazleton. That I've seen at Domino's. Not even a picture, that's just me seeing them. We need, because if they're gonna do the same things, like someone said, if I could see a change in what they do now, I wouldn't have a problem with raising taxes and hiring more police. But however, I don't see them doing their job. And I had one person specifically say to me that they won't come up here. They will say it. They won't come up here and say it because they're afraid that the police will single them out and suddenly they'll get in trouble for things. So, to say you're going to raise taxes to spend all that money again makes no sense. To say you want to have some money for yourself. I mean, you don't have any money for yourself if you start paying tax, if you start spending it all again.
I'll be honest with you, Joe. I think our rate is too high to begin with. However, the way I feel like we're one of the highest other than the cities in the school district. However, we're at basically not going to need everything till the end of the year. We may get lucky, but I'm already nervous. I was nervous at the last meeting by the balance. And it goes against every fiber of our being to do it, but I don't see how we manipulate these figures any other way.
Well, and I just did. So that's just my suggestion. You guys vote the way you want to vote on it, and that's. Yeah.
So when I got elected, I said I knew it was going to be really bad, and I didn't know how bad it was going to be. And I still don't know if it was as bad as I expected or if it's worse. I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm still learning new things all the time. I said it would take at least a year to just get my feet under myself. And I don't think this is even 100% accurate budget in either direction, income or expenses. I think it's somewhere around 90 to 95% that I understand, what's coming and going. I do not have intentions of raising taxes every single year. If there's money left at the end of the year, next year, that we have, 50,000, some ridiculous amount that we just, somehow, some other way, other than the crossing guards and things like that, things got so out of whack that we have money left. I don't have a problem with lowering taxes again. But at the end of 1 year, what it looks like to me is that they have to go up at this point in time, which they haven't since 2017. And if we have money left and I don't follow through on what I just said, to either keep the taxes flat or to lower the taxes, then call me out on it and I'll resign. But this is what I think we need to do to move anything forward in this borough, based on the numbers as I understand them right now.
Rebuilding our road, our infrastructure.
I understand that, but, first of all, somebody will say something about this. We're talking about saving money, but yet we're buying a zero-turn lawnmower for $3,000 a year for the next 3 years. That just, to me, that just makes no sense. I want to save money, but I'm going to throw it away on a $9,000 lawnmower, which we don't need.
Right.
If you go back to the street sweeper thing, we have $13,000 again. So, I understand what you're saying, but we're not investing when we're getting grants to do the streets, okay? And yes, it's nice that we have some money to do the streets, but where are we getting? Sooner or later, taxes are going to go up again because we're not investing in the community where we get more businesses in here. Again, back to the people don't want to pay $25 for a permit to work on their house for an entire year, but you're willing to pay $100 more in taxes. I don't get that. We have a landlord resolution ordinance where we should be collecting $25 for everybody who owns a property and rents it out in town. West Hazelton made $23,000 on that last year. Why are we not doing that and bringing that income in? And then investing it in the community, in maybe getting a building and fixing it up. The Freeland Business Development Authority, as much as I think they don't do anything, maybe that would motivate them to do something, to bring in some money. So, we're getting money, but we're not, a paved road only becomes a paved road. It's not going to bring any business in here if you pave Yale Street. So we're not getting any.
The residents deserve to have roads.
And I understand that. I mean, I have to drive down Center Street to make left onto North Street to make left on the ridge, and my car is old. All I hear is clank, 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 clank. I literally drove. I filled my glass up from the alley between Center and Ridge and drove down to North Street, made a right, and went up the Pine. This much from the top. Spilled all over the place because of the roads. And you think I like that? No. But it is what it is. I mean, it's like I understand we need to pave some roads, but at the same time, we need to invest where we can get a return on our investment. So let's say we're going to get money and then just spend it again and hope at the end of the year that we have some money left over. That's not an investment to me.
All right, well, are we at any point at this time that anyone wants to make any motion on?
Well, we have to go back and look at a few things. But I just wanted to say, as far as the zero-turn mower goes, that's $3,000. That doesn't change the fact that we're still 1 mil short on everything. That takes it from 113,590 to 110,590. What I want to say is, if we do not replace or supplement the tractor that we have right now, what is the plan if it breaks in May? If that tractor breaks in May, how do the 4th Ward has 2 fields that are basically the size of, basically 3 football fields up there. We have the Delacrosse field, and they also use it in the park. So how does that stuff get cut if we don't have a operational piece of apparatus?
First, you bought me on volunteers, work for volunteers. So obviously we can't have volunteers do it, even though we could have volunteers. We're going to spend $3,000 on a zero-turn lawnmower when you bought me on a speed hump, which would be less than that, and which is for the safety of people. Okay, so there's that. So if you want to buy a $3,000 lawnmower next year when the next one breaks down and keep that $3,000 in there, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But a $9,000 zero-turn lawnmower is ridiculous. As much as a $250,000 street sweeper is when you can rent one for 6 weeks out of the year.
It's the going rate for what they are.
You can buy a 54-inch cut lawnmower, John Deere, for less than $3,000, and you have it. And that's it, you're done. This town is 144 years old, and I know there's not a lot of electric mowers and gas mowers back in the old days, but when it came about, they went this long without a zero-turn lawnmower. Now all of a sudden they need a zero-turn lawnmower. That is ridiculous.
Well, it started out with a $30,000 tractor, and then it came down
That doesn't
to,
matter. No, I thought about that, but that's not an argument because they've been doing it all this time and everything seems to get done. So suddenly I would expect them to do a lot more.
Mhm.
A few years ago, the select board had issues with park maintenance being able to keep up with the parks and get them done in over the time
That was a part-time worker done.
the borough has been complaining that the residents of the borough have been complaining that the park is no restrictions on this.
I don't know what part you know.
And the issue that was supposed to use now I'm hearing from the police department on now talking about first city zero more than along with funky rattles all the time and that's part of being operating.
Not if you don't need it. And I don't know which parts we go to, but I walk all of those and there's nothing. I wouldn't complain about anything. In fact, with less work, less help this year, they had no part-time guy on their site and they had no guy officially sent at the park. The parks were cut better than I've ever seen. So those two guys did a better job. I think the other two guys probably just got in their way apparently because they did a better job this year than they've ever done.
well, part of the reality was that the park was closed, so they were able to use the tractor in there. Normally speaking, they can't use anything larger than a riding mower because it flings rocks and sticks and everything everywhere. But there were people who were posting on Facebook that the same argument. The borough wants to fine me for not cutting my grass, but they don't take care of their own. It takes more than one day sometimes if rain comes in or anything. But I was so mad because half of the park was, 3/4 of the park was done when that person posted that. So they had to go to one little section that still had to be done again. So people do complain, and part of it goes back to code enforcement.
Use Facebook as our convenience. Not 98% of the time, but jerks on there, so they pretend, live in Freeland, like no, they live in Freeland.
Well, there were,
So let's leave Facebook out of it. The guy cuts the grass down there, okay, so suddenly he can cut the grass because there was nobody down there, okay? So next year, there's gonna be nobody down there again, what's he gonna ride on, the zero-turn lawnmower?
yeah,
How can he ride on the zero-turn lawnmower if he can't use that? When there's people down there?
I said you can't use the tractor.
Well, what's the difference? There's something different between a tractor or a lawnmower? You
Yeah.
don't cut the grass.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Zero turns have bags on them. I mean, this is what it comes down to. All right, if council wants it by a show of hands, if council wants to remove that $3,000, which takes us from 113 to 110 and does absolutely nothing in terms of, then just raise your hand if you want it removed and it'll get removed immediately. But I want to still know what the plan is if the tractor breaks in June.
What did I just say?
We're arguing over $3,000 for over $1 million.
If the point is, you're gonna talk about saving money and you're gonna buy a ridiculous lawnmower, that's the point. So what I said was, and you're gonna put a liability on it for the next 3 years and beyond, because then you're gonna have to continue to fix that one. So what I said was, leave the $3,000 on there and forget about the next 3,000 next year and the 3,000 year after that. Buy these lawnmowers or put it on there if they need one next year, which I'm sure suddenly they're gonna need one, because it's gonna break down, and then they'll get one. And they'll have a $3,000 lawnmower instead of a $9,000 zero-turn lawnmower. That's ridiculous.
Okay, it's an up to amount, and going back to September, I mentioned about the tractor having issues, and I received absolutely 0 quotes from anybody. So if you can find a $5,000 lawnmower in the next, well, we don't have a quote in front of us for that, do we? So you want it, but you want somebody else to do the legwork. Yeah. So does anybody on council want that item removed? Show of hands. Well, it doesn't matter because it looks like it'll still be 4-2. So we'll move past that item. So if we could run through this very quickly, it's not going to be line through line. Admin, nothing changed. It's still the same bottom line. The 303, this says 733. I have a 633 for some reason. Let me figure out what that's all about. Let's see what changed. If you guys want to move ahead through and share employee shared expenses and things like that, feel free while I figure out this $100.
Employee shared expenses is a decrease. And if anybody has the one from the last meeting, last Thursday, it's social security underlines, social security, workman's comp, and the medical.
The lower breaking out is 196,604. You want me to find one?
Is that with the lower medical? No, that's what that figure. I have 200. What do you have?
I'm sorry, just one second.
Go ahead.
I cannot find the difference between these two.
We'll go. You want to go through the rest and I'll look at this.
Oh, we took out the $100 for PA one-call subscriptions on the admin. That's fourth from the bottom.
Yeah.
So everybody could scratch that out. And then that comes to 303,633.50. What was the question on employee shared? I'm sorry. The Social Security came down to
Total.
38,000.
No, we did that for total.
Okay.
My sheet says 208.
All right, the workman's comp has to go up. Did that get up? That has to go to 32,986.69. The medical insurance comes down to 94,798.92. Yeah, I have the 200,511.61. Yeah, buildings and grounds. Hopefully those electric amount, I don't know. I think it's 15,000 for the PPL. Hopefully the direct energy would be lower, but I have no indication of such. So that's unchanged at 29,066.60 cents. Tax collector, that should be unchanged. That's lower than it was last year at 11,400. Zoning and planning. Last meeting, we took the $42,000 off for the new officer. Full time. Does anybody change their mind about that? So that's 2,200. I'm sorry, that can't be right. Yeah, we took off the tentative solicitor as well last time. Is that off of yours? That's gone. All right, so the total we ended up with there was 2,200, which is lower than last year's. Code enforcement, the 5,100, that gets us an extra 6 hours per week. And then, yeah, everything's the same, 21,100 for that. That also includes an additional 3 hours every other week for one of the code guys. So on a 2-week period, that gets us an extra 6, 12, 15 hours more than what we had this year, where we were getting 24, now we're getting 39. So I think it's trending in the direction of additional code enforcement, which was another one of the stated goals that folks had. Yeah, it's something, it's not nothing, it's something. I won't pretend that it's necessarily where it needs to be. The streets, we already talked about the mower. I took things off of overtime and other places from previous years. So that's at the 112,814. Fire department, 29,165 flat. Yeah. The police, what do you guys have on your sheet there? 125 or 150 for that big? Yeah, the 125. The total there is 392, 396, 26. Now, income, I didn't change anything on there. So the income comes to 988, 696, 28. Is that right? Stormwater, the total income we think is 340, but that's including some additional collections. The total expenses is 162,708.81. Garbage, we have the income again with some delinquents, 379,785. Total expenses 264,186.46. And liquid fuels is the one that we have to talk about because the only way we could balance that is by bringing forward our end of year balance, which now, this had a question on it. So there's the multimodal grant match on there, which per the contract, that's a $13,016.27. If we don't get the grant, that's not a good thing, but that does put some money that would go back into street materials. The Caterpillar payment, I think I'm comfortable setting that to zero based on the DCED. All right. So Leanne, you still didn't hear from them, right? But we're still going to zero it out because I went back and checked the DCED report and the amounts aren't, I think they're rounded on that report. All right. Well, we had a balloon payment last year. We only had like 13,000 in the budget, but the check that we wrote, and I guess I didn't check at the time, was like 23 grand. So they just sent us the bill and we paid it, and I, you know, shame on me, but I signed it. All right, so when I take the Caterpillar payment out, that still doesn't balance us against the 105,840 allocation. So do we need to do some other things somewhere? Street lighting, that is what it is. It's 55,000. We can't really touch it. Surface treatment, salt and anti-skid, we have a contractual obligation to buy 240 tons. And based on what we bought already this year, plus what we have, we can't really touch that number. The street sweeper payment is what it is. Vehicle maintenance, maybe we'd be able to steal a couple bucks from there. Street supply, signs, poles, nuts, bolts, it's only 1,500 bucks to begin with. If we steal money from there, where does that really get us at all? So you guys tell me, what do we want to do on this liquid fuels? We got like a $7,000 deficit.
Well, like I said, even if you say you bring down the street materials, right?
Yeah,
You can still expend it because you have it already in your house, it's just not coming through this.
all right, so if I take 105, 840, 05 minus 112,210, 30, that gives us minus 6370. So I'll take that 6370 and a quarter off of street materials.
So that's also the budget.
114,811, 32 minus 637025. So street materials, oh, come on. Minus. All right, so change street materials from 14,811.32 to 8441.07. $8,441.07. You're faster than me.
Well, that's what the internet said. That's what they said.
Yeah, I think it should. Let me make sure it does. Eight, 105, 840, 05. That balances liquid fuels. 40. So let's see. So our difference remains at negative 113,590.69. So that's 1 mil. Leanne, what day was that we got that stuff from the county? Tuesday? Yeah, I want to get, you remember what the amount was? The total, the 113 million? Here, I have it here. All right, so after the county certified our taxes, we ended up at $130 million. Oh, it's down
You
below.
have to go. Here, this one. This is
Okay,
tax
yeah,
exempt.
Yeah, I got you. 113,330,300. So Freeland is assessed at 113,330,300. So 5.2 mils would be
I mean, you can change the whole thing, but then you also have to go to back it in.
Well, we have to, you want to do it based on the 3.7 versus the 4.2, you mean?
Well, no, I mean, no, you can't. because
Yeah,
it's already
exactly.
spent.
113,330, 300. So that raises our real estate up to 589, 317, 56. No. Versus based on the existing millage, it's 475, 987, 26. So the difference between those two is $113,330.30. And which doesn't even cover our distance or difference yet. We're still short by another 260 bucks.
I think it's the office, so it's 30.
So we need to find $260.39 somewhere.
I think office supplies. I think it's like that. Everybody disagrees, 3,500 for office supplies.
I think that's such a minuscule amount that, we're gonna see that because as Bill brought up, we don't hire a police officer immediately, then we're already saving.
No, but we just have to show it as balance.
Yeah, it's
Right.
have to.
Yes, you have to show the balance if you want to.
So we could take it off crossing guards.
It could be that.
Or no, I don't really like touching that one at all. To go back to what I said earlier, code enforcement, they're going to take a couple weeks into January to come in, right? Should we take it off that 5,100 for the code enforcement? Because even if we advertise it Monday. All right, so back on the code tab. Is everybody okay with that? So the line tentative code officer 3 comes from 5,100. 4839.61. And the total there comes down to $20,839.61. Now, back on the income, what would happen with that 1 mil? That would be real estate current would go up to what?
not collected that point. You know what I'm saying? That 430 isn't the correct figure if you did the millage. You're saying some won't be collected.
Help me out real quick. What are I don't know if I have these carrying over correctly from the other tabs. Administration is what? Somebody shouted out, 303, 633.50.
Yeah.
All right, buildings and grounds. Sorry, wait. Am I out of whack here? Okay, employee shared expenses, 200,000, 511.61. Buildings and grounds, 29,066.60. Tax collector, 11,400. Planning and zoning, 2,200. Code enforcement, 20,839.61. Streets, 112,814. Fire department, 29,165. Police, 392, 396.26. So it seems like I should just add that 113 onto it.
What percentage?
What percentage is the uncollected? Well, we had it around $50,000 out of 480. So we do we do, I don't know. So it generates an additional 113,330. Do we just put that whole number in there? I mean, we know we're not going to collect it all. We put 105 in there additional, and then that's another 8,590 that didn't get collected. All right. 105. All right, so real estate current goes from 430 to 538. We're still 5,330 short. I really don't want to take this mower off because I still want to see how this whole thing is going to go, but unfortunately, we might be backed into a corner at this point in time. Unless we want to roll the dice as far as what we're actually going to collect. And the tax collector's salary probably goes up too. By about $2,000. Now we're even more in a hole. Changing tax collector from 11,000 for the, or 10,000 for the salary to 12,000. Brings the total for that department up to 13,400. And now our difference is 7,330.30. Want to take that part out of that police chunk? You want to take that mower off and then take part of it out of that police chunk? Sorry, are you looking at the salaries of the existing? The tentative, oh, you're just dividing it by the number of weeks. All right, so, all right, so we're gonna take 73.30 off of the 125. Well, Wilkes-Barre Township's advertising again, and they were the ones that were advertising a couple of weeks ago for part-time, so.
And we don't have one for 3 months, then that just gives us a lot more money to spend for the next 5 months to really cover the garden station. And you guys make absolutely no sense, but okay.
Well, you know, there's more to it than that, Joe.
Not really.
There is.
Everybody sits all here. We want more police. We want more police. I'm done talking. It's pointless. None of it makes any sense, but.
So that $125 police item comes down to 117,669.70. Which brings the police total down to 385,065.96. Well, that's why we have to shop for property, liability, and vehicle insurance, absolutely. Hmm. So that last change balances us. Income and expenses are both $1,096,696.28. Like to make a motion to that effect. Yes. So the tax rate changes from 4.2 mils to 5.2 mils. It's still 0.5 for the ambulance.
Ordinance setting the tax rate to 5.2 mils for 2021. Is there a second on that motion?
Yeah, oh, I forgot. Yeah.
Well, they worked before we certainly adopted, absolutely. But does anyone like to take that comment?
I forgot. I'm sorry.
I'm James Baker from 441 Main Street.
I don't like the fact that the borough has been working with such a tight budget. As a matter of fact, working without a balanced budget. Previous years, we've had deficits. there's no progression in this borough. We need to be forward thinking. And if we spend a little extra money and you do your job, we'll spend it in the right place. I assume that you're going to do due diligence in spending the money or save the money. And there's certainly nothing wrong with having something to the bank at the end of the year. With the unknown. I pay probably the highest taxes in town, or I'm about among the highest paid tax numbers in the city. I support the 1 million tax increase. And one of the reasons I don't have any reservations about that is because even though some people say that the millage rate is high, that's kind of false insofar as our property taxes are low. So we really don't have the income to support our infrastructure. We have conveniences here. We have police, we have ambulance, we have the fire department. We try and take care of our streets as best we can. And that costs that I'm willing to pay for it. And the fact that I pay the taxes that I do is almost an embarrassment when I talk to other people paying much more higher taxes. So I don't think it's wrong to increase the taxes. That's my perspective.
Unfortunate time though, in a pandemic and people out of work, that's the problem, but we're facing a deficit. It's gonna be the state government as well, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to note, I'm not going to tell John to go place an order for any kind of a mower at all.
No.
If we could get by for as long as we could get by, then we'll get by on it. This is budgeting. This is providing ourselves with the option to buy something later on.
Yeah, no,
It's not approving the purchase. It is.
Every single thing that we're talking about.
If you're a penny pincher, yes.
Yes, exactly. And for somebody to come up who pays the highest tax amount they say in town, God bless you. But also, you have to think of the person who may not pay the highest tax amount, but also doesn't have your income come out. So, you might pay the highest tax amount and can afford that. I might pay next to second and can afford that. The guy in third place might pay a real high tax amount, and now all of a sudden things are crashing for him.
So you would prefer to see Freeland turn into a ghetto,
No.
just because people can't afford to pay.
How is raising taxes going to help anybody who's already here? It just makes them pay more money.
Yes.
So that everyone can say, hey, Luzerne County, Island School District, Freeland Borough, I'll raise my taxes. Hey, boss, you need to give me more money. That's not the way it's going to work. And I look out for that person.
All the communities in this area have raised taxes. Why? Because they need it.
We didn't need to. I just showed you how to.
You are thinking very negative.
I don't think negative.
You're not pro Freeland, I'll tell you that.
I'm not really?
Really.
Really? Wow.
Okay, now we heard the motion. Is there a second on that motion? Second by Bill. Okay, roll call here. Keep in mind, everyone, this is just to advertise the budget and advertise the release. This is not final adoption. Roll call here. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. Bill, are you there? The vote is advertised, Bill. Can you hear me? He said he can barely hear, and it's not much of a text. Try to keep it low. He said he's here, but he can't speak. You ought to speak.
You have him direct dialed, or are you talking to him through Zoom too?
No, I got it on direct. Joe?
Hold on one second. He says he votes no, he sent a message about it.
Who votes no? Polko votes no.
For a December regularly scheduled meeting, which we may have to go back to virtual depending on our numbers. Any other business at this time?
I just had one more item. Direct Energy, we had a contract for them. I think it was a one-year contract from December to December of 2019 to 20. And that contract's expiring. I think our rate was 0.06387 per kilowatt hour. Because the contract's expiring, they were going to automatically set us up on another quote unquote contract at 0.09. Got a chance to call them this week. They provided some options. And the one that I liked out of that option is 36 months at 0.05637 per kilowatt hour, which is 30-some% savings over what would be otherwise. I didn't have a chance to shop with anybody else, but it was a pretty easy phone call. Well, I was on the line with them for 30 minutes before I got hung up on a no call back, but I'd like to make the motion for the 36 months at the fixed rate of 0.05637 per kilowatt hour. Yeah, it may take a few months of billing cycles to get it. So if we don't do anything right now, then our December bill is probably going to come at the 0.09 and we're on the hook for that. Plus somebody has to shop for it and I'm exhausted. I'm assuming that it got shopped for that 2019 contract, and this is lower than that by an additional 0.75%. So to lock us in for 3 years, I don't think we're going to do much better. And we're talking about fractions of a penny at that point in time. But whatever everybody's comfortable with, that's what I'm comfortable with. And then I don't have to think about one thing for the rest of my time on council.
By Joe, roll call, yes.
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 Anything else? Anybody have anything else?
You didn't get anything into the office this week, right, Leanne, or anything like that? Oh.
Currently, you're not opening any new applications. However, that would be a separate project on the LSA that we're probably talked about if we would approve that. Then we would just forward that to John, and they told her we can't submit it before midnight on Monday if you guys are okay with that. If the fee is still falls with the borough, we would submit to the borough for that same amount.
Then we start talking about the rest of the Freeland Fire Department applying.
Just because of 2019 still being hung up, or does that not have anything to do with it?
What they did is they walked through applications of $1,000. So basically, you can do your application like this. This applicant outside applicant tries to get in, you're not actually.
Maybe we should do a resolution. But we have to do a resolution for our application. I think. We did a resolution for our application, then we did a resolution for their application. And I mean, I guess this doesn't change anything, but I just have a hard time seeing it getting done on between now and Monday. I don't see it logistically getting done. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if he's working on Monday.
You talked to Dominic?
My daughter down is open, and so is, the other one, but we're going to count it off.
I mean, we can,
Go ahead.
Make a resolution, put it done.
Well, they have that.
We have the right.
You wouldn't think
Just
that.
instead of submitting the information, Dominic has to submit it under the borough.
Yeah, we already
Under
know
the budget
that.
number.
I mean, he has to open up our application and add another project onto it. Which, I mean, we're just following through with what we said last week, so I don't have a problem with that, but I'm telling you guys, I have my doubts as to whether it's gonna happen in terms of like allowing it, you know. That's one thing, but we'll give it a try, or depending on how the vote goes, we'll give it a try, I guess. We have to do a motion, don't we? Because this timing could not be worse with no attorney sitting here.
That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Holidays, November 30th, midnight deadline.
Yeah.
So that's why we're trying to move forward to get a hold of Dominic.
Yeah, we're trying to make a phone call quick.
If we would have allowed us, we would have given us some way yesterday. As far as the information.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry about you on that meeting. Actually, the fire department is not able to apply for the grant under the Freeland Fire Department. And they were told from the DTEC's office that it's because they didn't submit one in 2019, that they're only accepting those. He's saying that's not true. Would you be able to sometime, if I get you contact info for Wilson Malloy, get him in the application? Okay. They've done it before. He just can't get in. Okay. All right, okay, thank you. Okay, bye-bye. Is it okay if I give him either one of your contact info?
His number, we can send them already to be submitted, so now that we need to know the question.
Okay. I'll do that. I'll check it to him.
Thank you.
It might not be till Monday morning. Okay. I don't know if he's working it all over the weekend. But he said that he does not believe that to be true, that he could get you in. So I'll give it a whirl.
Get it in.
Okay.
Do we have to do anything? The budget is based on this changing insurance policy. Do we have to do anything about that tonight? You're supposed to notify them of any changes in your medical insurance stuff 30 days in advance. And our budget is based on the different plan versus renewing the existing plan.
And it renews 1/1.
Yeah, so should we be making a motion to switch to this other plan here? I had looked at some of the, I'm sorry, I had looked at some of the Geisinger stuff and, you know, a couple $100 per month times 12 months does make, you know, a few $1,000s difference there and stuff like that. I just don't want us to get out too late because our next voting meeting isn't until like the 17th.
We can make the motion. But if you decide to change it something better, have that option, right? Just make the motion, we're gonna.
Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna sign
we're not
anything
gonna
here
say we're
on
making a
Monday.
motion,
We're just gonna
we're
tell.
making a motion.
But how are we gonna go about doing the more shopping stuff? Does everybody have, there was emails going back to, I think, no, October or something? I think we need to make sure that we have everything that, everybody has everything that some of us have, because Joe talked to the lady, I talked to the lady, we both talked to the lady. I forwarded a lot of stuff over, but how do we go ahead to move it forward if there is more to examine, I guess? So we need to figure out what everybody has in hand and what they don't have in hand yet. But
Everybody get a chance to review it on email. We could do it even via executive, and then we could ratify it at our next meeting so that it's, because I don't want to go and make a blanket. We don't know what we're approving motion tonight. Okay. Are you okay with that?
yeah, I mean, I think on 1/1 we'll have whatever the new one, if there's a new one, I'm sure it'll be able to be put in play. We just might have to do something. Yeah, we just have to the executive is basically the answer to my question is like, how do we move it forward quickly if we have to? So everybody needs to make this a priority, you know, in the next week or so.
Oh, it has to be long before our next workshop. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm here to talk about the report. We made a suggestion about having a coloring contest for the kids for Christmas. And I asked Terry Roberts from Swanee, you know, to see if she would put a picture in her progress that they could fill out and send it in or drop it off or whatever. Or do we still have a Facebook page or that you can put it on there? I just want to know if you could do it.
I think this is Christmas. Let's start over. This is for Christmas, right? Okay, and is there gonna be prizes or people, how do they get the thing back to us? Oh, yeah. Where? I don't know if they're gonna get fudged up that way. I wish there was like, yeah, I mean, this is a parade of people coming to drop this thing off. Were there prizes that time? Are there prizes this time?
Well, the chamber promised me $400, so I thought we could give, you know, some kind of a.
So maybe prizes would change participation, but I'd rather not see the drop off be here necessarily because we don't even know if our building's gonna be open.
Well, they can't just scan it off with a.
Everybody's got
Are they coloring something they want, or is it something you've taken out?
Well, no, either like a Santa Claus or something, and
That they pick out?
No, she's gonna have it printed in either the progress or on the Facebook page that they
they can't on their phone and email it back to them? Somehow? I mean, not somehow, can they not do that? I mean, you know, at the worst, mom and dad's gonna help them, so they'll have some family time. What's the big deal if they have mom and dad help them color it?
I think just have our kids and our parents or our parents to
Yeah.
utilize the internet.
And they're gonna have a name and some information on there to get back to them.
Yeah, you have to have the name group. Just so you put out the name group.
Oh my God.
If you're not on school days, that's-
Wait, and you're planning on having this in the December progress?
If she would do it.
November 24th. How are you gonna?
I have to call her. either.
You gotta get it in there, then they gotta get it in their hands, and then they gotta get it back. So I guess it's gonna go into January, I would say. Have it in by December 25th or by December 31st or something like that. Have it in by, and then you'll come back.
Well, the projects don't come out till January 7th. It don't come out on the 1st.
Well,
All right, well, then,
they'll be awarded after Christmas, though, right?
how long did you?
Well, I figured we'd be able to chance it off for Christmas.
Well,
Whatever you figure.
that's,
And I always throw money around, people will be jumping on that probably. $400.
probably Joe. He'll probably be coloring.
I'll do it lefty though, so you think it's somebody.
No,
That's what you said, age groups. That's why I said, how's she gonna get all this?
Is there a senior group? An AARP group?
He's making the joke.
Just, yeah, move on.
Definitely not.
So it's gotta be a picture, and everybody's getting the same picture, right? And that's gonna have their name and some way to contact them, whether it's email or phone number or something like that. It's gonna be printed on the Facebook page. I could put it on the website. It could go on the progress. They're gonna have to download and print it out. I hear they could go to the library to print stuff out. I heard the library provides printing services to the community, so they can go out there and print it out, and then they're gonna take a picture of it, and they're gonna keep theirs, and they're gonna email it to some email address. We could even set up a Gmail just for this if we had to, or something like that, because I don't want them coming to my email. And then we have to have a deadline for when they have to have it in by, and then you have to figure out what your prizes are and when you're gonna award the prizes. Does that cover everything? You're killing us, Mary. On November 27th.
yeah. When am I going to get reimbursed for all?
Go get it.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Yeah.
Thank you. And how'd we do on the busted lights for the tree? How many did you have to buy? How many did you have to buy though? Were they all new? Are they all brand new this year now? All right, and they took that out of the Christmas tree lights because we didn't really have money for it and coming out of rec. So thank you for making that work, guys. Park gutters are cleaned out. John and the guys think they could get those covers that we bought to work. They might have to trim them where there's some jointures. And on the back side of the pavilion, on the court side, they built a drainage system out of PVC pipe. It was about $200 out of the 500. So all the downspouts are connected, and there's 4-inch PVC attached to the building going the whole way down. It actually looks professional, if you ask me. It looks really good. So hopefully it does the job. I'm waiting for it to rain now so I can go check it out. Yeah, I don't know if they work. All right,
All right, are we good? Motion to adjourn.
second.
Motion by Bill, second by Matt, all those in favor? Aye.
All right, thank you.
everyone.
I'm sorry. One check. I'm sure that's fine.
$300 and some dollars. One invoice, right?
Sounds like it. I dropped off 2 separate invoices.
We have no